keeps trying to climb up on my camera stand. He keeps knocking off my camera when he does it, so not gonna let him do it anymore. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Cheryl, and today I'm here to bring you my top 5 books that I'm excited to read this winter. Now, winter is like the perfect time to read long, epic fantasies, so that's predominantly what this list is going to be made of. I've got some books that I've talked about before and some books that I haven't talked about before, so yeah, without further ado, let's get into the books. So the first book I'm going to talk about today is Stone of Tears by Terry Goodkind. Now, this is the second book in his Sword of Truth series, so there's not much I can say about this book without spoiling anything. This will be a reread for me, so I do know what happens in this book vaguely. I read it back in high school, so I don't remember a whole lot about it, but basically this series is your stereotypical epic fantasy series that follows the main character Richard and his adventures with a wizard and a girl named Kalan, I think is how you pronounce her name, as they basically try to battle the evil that's taken over the land. And so yeah, this just kind of continues the events of the first book. It is a huge mass market paperback. This thing is like 900 pages long, so I hope to get to this sometime this winter. I did read the first book, Wizard's First Rule, last winter, so yeah, we'll just keep that trend going. The next fantasy book I hope to read this winter is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. This as well will be a reread. I've been slowly but surely making my way through the series, and this is the one I have next. This is when the books start getting longer, but I've read this book before. I know I'll absolutely love it, and I know I'll fly through it when I actually pick this up. If for whatever reason you haven't picked up this series yet, I won't say anything to spoil it, because like I said, this is the 4th book in the series, but I do highly recommend picking up this series if you have not yet. It is basically a fantasy adventure that follows Harry Potter as he finds out he's a wizard and all of the crazy stuff that happens since then. But yes, I look forward to revisiting this world and these characters, and I definitely look forward to picking this book up. Alright, so the next book I have to show you is a ridiculously long book, but it's not fantasy. It's actually sci-fi, and that's Dune by Frank Herbert. This is the first book in his Dune series. I don't know if it has a different name, but basically this series is what kicked off the sci-fi trend. This series created a lot of the tropes you see in sci-fi and other fantasy adventures since this. And so I figured it was about time to pick it up. I enjoy sci-fi. It's not my absolute favorite genre, so I don't know how much I'll enjoy this book, but it's also like over 800 pages long, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm definitely looking forward to reading it. I've heard really good things about it, and I see it referenced everywhere, so might as well pick it up during the winter. So the next book I hope to get to is another fantasy, but it's not nearly as long as the others, and that is The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan. This is the 3rd book in his Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, which follows Percy Jackson, who is a demigod, which means he's half Greek god and half human, and his adventures. So yeah, I've absolutely loved this series as I've read it. It's been kind of a slow read for me just because I'm trying to savor it. This will be the first time I've read this series, and I know it is highly beloved here on BookTube. But yeah, the previous book, Sea of Monsters, is actually what pulled me out of my previous reading slump, so we'll see how this one goes. I definitely look forward to it and revisiting this world and story and these characters who are just my absolute favorite. So yes, I definitely hope to pick up this book sometime during the winter. Alright, and the 5th book I hope to pick up sometime this winter is the only non-fantasy book I have on this list, and that's going to be Tatiana and Alexander by Paulina Simons. This is the 2nd book in her Bronze Horseman trilogy. I read the first book, The Bronze Horseman, last February, or this past February, and I enjoyed it when I read it. However, looking back on it, there are some issues I have with it now, so I'm curious to see if this book addresses those issues or what. But basically, the first book takes place in Leningrad during the siege of Leningrad, where Tatiana lives and Alexander is a soldier, and basically their epic romance and what happens with the war. It's a heart-wrenching book. It's hard to read about that topic because it is such a terrible time in history. I'm really hoping that this book is even better and that it addresses some of the issues I had with the first book. It's not quite as long either. This is only like 500 pages, where the first one was almost 900 pages, I think. So yeah, I definitely hope to pick up this book sometime soon. So yeah, those are the 5 books I hope to read sometime this winter. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to get to all of them or when I'm going to get to them, but I'm looking forward to all of them. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!